Hey, Dr. Perry. It's Drew, obviously. So, I've been thinking about this last reflection and the ways in which I've grown the most, the things that I've learned the most throughout this semester, which I think I'll learn on an even bigger scale next semester during student teaching. And I think that what I've come away from the most throughout this semester involves the motivation for teaching. And I've really questioned at several points my motivation for teaching and the reasons why I wanted to possibly teach high school compared to teaching middle school. And at first I was very opposed to teaching middle school. And I think that what I've come to learn is this. If the reason why you want to teach English is because you want to have awesome discussions about all of these great works of literature, then unless you get put in a really prime position, then it's not exactly going to go the way that you think it's going to go. If the only reason why you want to teach is because having fun conversations and discussions about literature, although those are definitely perks, and I definitely want to create that in my classroom as much as possible. If that's the only reason why I want to teach is because it benefits me and because I find it interesting, then I'm not going to be in this very long. Because unless you get put in a certain position, maybe you're teaching AP or in a certain school system, a certain part of the city, then in most cases your class is not going to be that ideal. And so what I've come to learn is that my motivation for teaching has to be so much more about the students, and it has to be so much more about planting seeds in their lives and realizing that I might not ever get to see those seeds actually come to harvest. But I have to be okay knowing that I've at least planted some of those seeds, and that the actual teaching profession is much more nitty and gritty than I guess we all want to think that it is. And I've just come to realize throughout this semester that my motivation for teaching has to be about the students. It can't be about what I want to teach, what book I want to teach, all the cool things that I think that some people sort of idealize and romanticize about teaching. That's definitely a part of it, I guess, in some ways. And there are definitely some things that we as teachers can do to inspire those fun and awesome and creative conversations and discussions and activities. And there are definitely some aha moments that we can help our students have. But if we think that for most of us that we're going to get put in a situation right off the bat where we're going to have those Hillary Swank Freedom Rider type moments every single day, that's not going to be entirely realistic. And so I need to re-examine, and I have re-examined, what it is that motivates me to teach. And it's those little moments. It's those little moments whenever you can really see the wheels turning in their heads. And those aha moments might be few and far between sometimes, but they're there. They might be lurking just beneath their exterior, but they're there. And whether you're teaching 12th grade AP or you're teaching 7th grade regular, we as teachers have got to do the best that we can do to design creative, engaging lessons that can really connect with all types of students, not just your ideal student, whatever that type of student may be. So that's the one thing I think that I've most learned and reflected on this semester is my motivation for teaching. And I think I've really grown and come to some realizations in that area. The other big area is classroom management. I have learned a lot, and I've talked about this in my first two reflections about classroom management. Just small things that you might not think really affect how well you can manage the classroom, but have a huge impact on how well you can run your classroom. And I've learned so much about transitions and how to establish authority and how to do things like passing out folders, simple things like that that might not seem like a huge deal in the overall scheme of teaching on a day-to-day basis pay huge dividends, and I've learned a lot about that. I've also learned a lot about designing lesson plans that are effective, that are clear, that have clear direction, that have clear purpose. And if your lesson plans are not clear, they're not direct, they don't have a definitive purpose, then not only are your students not going to get much out of it, but I'm not going to be very effective at leading the students if I'm not even really sure what the purpose and the direction of that lesson is. So I've definitely learned a lot about lesson planning and rigor, and how something can be rigorous and challenging, but also be fun and engaging and not turn off the students. I've also learned a lot about pacing. It's really important, in my opinion, and I've seen this firsthand all semester, that we don't overpace ourselves, that we give ourselves time to kind of maneuver around things or backtrack if we need to, if something is not being understood very well by the students. It's very important that we don't think that we have to get every single thing done to the point where we gloss over everything and don't master anything. And I've learned a lot about the importance of mastering skills, and it might slow you down a little bit, but it's better for them to understand something on a very thorough level than to fly through something and not understand really much of it at all. So those are just 3 or 4 things that I've seen up close and personal a lot this semester. I've only been going 2 days a week, so I haven't been there 5 days a week, so I'm guessing next semester will enlighten a lot more. But I've learned a lot, and some of it has been some areas where I've had to kind of change my perceptions of things, but almost all of it has been positive and has only made me want to examine how I'm going to be a teacher and examine the ways in which I want to do things. So overall, it's been a really great semester, a great learning experience, and Emily has been fantastic, even though she hasn't been here the past few weeks. But she has more important things on her mind and hands right now with her baby. So, I don't know. I'm looking forward to next semester, and hopefully we'll learn a lot more.